Hi everyone, my name is Mary and welcome to the Kamali channel. So on today's video, we are going to talk about how to succeed as a college student in the classroom. I will be sharing 5 tips that I believe are essential to your success in the classroom. So the first tip is to have at least 2 friends in every single class of yours. This is because if you happen to miss class or need to compare notes or want a study buddy or a study group, you have this person or people to do it with. I remember I had a professor who took 5 minutes out of class and he made sure we exchanged contact with some of the people sitting close to us so that if we happen to miss class or need clarification, we could go to our peers first before going to the professor. And this was very helpful because, you know, as students, we find it more comfortable to talk to our peers than the professor. So this is a good way to do that and also build friendships. For my previous video, if you remember, we talked about having common ground and having commonalities with people and having that be like a basics for a friendship. So having a professor do this enabled us to have this commonalities with each other and also have each other's contact. So if we needed anything, we just or like a text message away from getting the answer or inquiring if the other person could help you solve the answer. The second tip would be to utilize office hours. I'm not gonna lie, office hours seemed intimidating my first year of college. I thought I would never go, but office hours is so beneficial. I wish everyone could go experience it because I'm hyping it up maybe a little bit, but it's so beneficial because you get to ask questions that you were not able to ask in class. You get to know your professor gets to know you more, and that could also be very beneficial if you need like a reference letter or need someone to back you up in your capabilities or like skills, whatever. Depending on how far you go with your relationship with your professor, they could be that person you could go to ask these things from. You also get to ask if your professor could explain the topic taught in class in a different way, maybe use different examples or different scenarios so you better understand it. You could also ask your professor if they could give you extra practice to better suit where it's a little bit challenging for you. You can ask them if there's a book or like a YouTube video, something that could help you better deepen your understanding of the topic they're teaching. I have a story. I remember when I was taking calc class, calc office hours with my professor is the most amount of times I've been to an office hour, like for a specific professor. I just needed that much assistance with the topic, okay? And I used to visit his office like almost every single time after we had his class, or every single time he had office hours. And we were 3 specific students. It was me, this girl, and some other guy. And sometimes I would even go to the office before the professor showed up, or the girl would be there and then I'll come meet her before the professor showed up. And we used to go and the professor would give us practice questions. He would go over homework with us, show us what we did to not get the correct answer or what we missed. And sometimes he even give us individualized practice questions depending and catered to where we're personally struggling in, and that was so helpful. That was immensely helpful. So I would encourage you to do the same thing if you're struggling in a specific class, so that you get this help that professors are paid to assist you with. My third tip is forming study groups or having a study buddy like we discussed in the first tip. I say this because having a study group or someone to study with can be very beneficial, and you guys could help each other out with understanding material or quizzing each other or bringing attention to something you might have overlooked because you think maybe it's not as important, or you think it might not come up in a test, but then your friend could draw attention to it that, oh, it could actually be on a test, or it's important, or we should just practice it to be safe, so you have that balancing out. And a study partner again, or a studying group, could help you bring this into focus and make it more fun studying. Of course, it could be fun studying by yourself and just like vibing to some music, but having another person that could also be equally, if not more, fun studying. Additionally, a tip to this tip would be to study prior to your study group session or studying with your study buddy. This is because so you don't want to go and have it be your first time looking at a study material you guys are going over without you studying or looking at it yourself before coming, you know. So the fourth tip or fifth tip, the next tip is note taking. Over the years, I have realized that writing down my notes in the form of questions works best for me. So it's not necessarily writing or jotting down word for word what the professor is saying or what's already on the PowerPoint, which is available to you. If you do that and you write down what's already on the PowerPoint, then you're just being redundant about your work. You're just wasting energy because everything you're writing down is already on the PowerPoint. I do get that some people say when you write it down it sticks more. Maybe you can do that during your study session, you know, like personal study session or study session in a group. But when in the classroom, writing down maybe the profound things that the professor says or the things that the professor repeats, write those down because those are more likely to be in an exam or quiz or test. So whatever's on the PowerPoint, you can write those down in the form of questions. And during your own personal study session or group session, you can answer those questions in your personal words and help you remember it more. So the next tip is utilizing your campus resources. And when I say campus resources, I mean libraries and learning centers and wherever a quiet space may be outside of your dorm or in addition to your dorm, where you feel comfortable studying and you feel the most focused. For my campus, we have a learning center, which is immensely helpful because they have tutors there. They have peer tutors, they have professional tutors who can help you in whichever course you are in or subject you need help in. They also have proofreading professionals, so if you need to write an essay for a specific class or need someone to cross-check your work for you, your essay for you, just like a different eye to look over your work for you so they can pick out and help you adjust things grammatically, they'll be able to help you do that. We also have a library, and we also have quiet areas all over the campus where you could sit, do your assignments, read, work on your project, whatever, in a quiet environment where you can just be there and focus at your best. Some other obvious ways of succeeding in the classroom includes attending class regularly, and of course maybe life could happen or you have like an emergency or have to leave class a little bit early. You can use the first tip, but in general you should make sure you attend class regularly because you have to think of it this way. You are paying to be there, so you are the one losing if you decide to waste money and not go to the class you've already paid for, you know. Another tip is, of course, working on your assignments and projects as soon as it's given so that you're not lagging behind and you're maximizing your time effectively. So my last but not least tip is for you to practice self-care and have a balance between personal life and academic life. I hope these tips really help you because it has helped me. It has helped me get on the Dean's List, and I hope it does the same for you. And as always, please subscribe, transcribe this channel to your friends, family, and loved ones, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.